Hi everybody, come on in. I just have a little old orchid here this morning that it's one that I called it Burgundy Splash, and it's one that's been struggling for quite a few years because it got left out in the greenhouse I'd actually given up on it, truth be told, and I thought, well, I'll put it out there right by the pond, and we don't have a pond in the greenhouse anymore, and it will get the humidity, but I forgot about it, and it was out there a long time, and it actually survived and perked up, so I brought it in, and I put it in this pot, and this pot, I had two pots like that, a small one and a bigger one, and the other one broke, and every time I pick this up to water it, I think, oh, this one's gonna go. So I wanted to just put it in another pot, see how it's doing, and then I just want to show you how it is when we sit here and have dinner right now with all the orchids around us. It's pretty nice because it's snowing outside. And then for those who want to stay to the end, I'm going to show you my painting and discuss a few things that have been going on around here. And you probably aren't seeing me as often. So anyway, that'll be at the end. So let's get this repot done and have a look to see how poor little Burgundy Splash is doing. So this bark is still good because it's been in here for quite a long time, and there's probably more bark than I need, but I did have some of the bark that we did the last pot into the glass vase with, and it was out in the patio, so I rinsed it with some warm water, and I brought it in because it's full of a lot of nourishment from soaking it for more than 3 days in seaweed extract and Kelly Magic. So let's take a look here. Okay, you know there's an old root here. This one is coming off, so I see that. Yeah, she was struggling, and she's still showing signs she was struggling. There's some real dry roots here I'm just going to pick off. I'll let them fall on the floor. But she is recouping. She's showing signs of... Now when I see one like this, where it's actually bare, but then it goes on, I will leave it, because if she had lots of healthy roots, I wouldn't. But because she's been one that's been struggling, as you can see, it's still sending out a little root on the end of the struggling branch. So I don't think you should be too drastic with taking out roots. Now there's one in here that's really dry. Yeah, very dry. That's an old root. And there's some here that are actually wet from sitting in this pot. And probably watering day was Wednesday, so it just hasn't dried at the bottom very well in this pot. There's probably too much bark in there too. So this pot's just got one hole in the bottom and not a lot of holes down here. So the upper part was staying dry, but here where there was no holes and just the one drainage hole, it was holding on to some water. I like lots of holes, but I remember I'd stuck it in there. Now let's see, poor little thing. I know, I have to show you all my struggling ones as well as the healthy ones. So, you know, I think we're good now. And we got a growing season coming, and I still have hopes for... Now this is a dry old sheath from a leaf that came off, and I usually get my little pliers out and I pull them off because they will only harbor disease, bugs, moisture. So everything looks fine here. I think she'll be much better off in this pot with the holes right to the bottom. I had ran out of pots and I'd used this one, and really it wasn't the best. So what I want to do is I'm going to put some of the older bark in the bottom. The bark that was in the pot. And this is all dry where it was actually getting air holes to dry it. Then this bark is actually still pretty good, and if the sun comes out come spring, we've had some real spring-like beautiful days walking around the block in our runners, and then last night it started to snow, and it's supposed to have quit, but it hasn't. It's still snowing, so you're going to get a beautiful view of that. There, so now what I'm going to use is the bark from the last glass pot that we did, and because it's fresh, it's soaked up lots of Kelly Magic, which is really good for these roots. It has some new roots coming. And seaweed extract, lots of nitrogen and other things that are excellent to help a little plant out. That I think I like to get these done before spring when all the growth is happening. And it's been on my mind. And the ones that were sticking out, I've left still sticking out. So, I know it's just a quick repot, but then I'm going to just show you what it looks like when we're actually sitting. This is Mom's spot, and she sits here and she loves to come up and see the orchids. But I did put this one here because I'm going to show you a close-up. I've got a couple that are just getting ready to come in, and they started spiking most of these. I put a little tape note on the package. They started spiking about end of September. So here we are, already the middle of February. We are going to have flowers for a few months yet. So you might think orchids are expensive, but the joy, every year you can do this. Every year you can have flowers from your orchid. So there, we've got this one potted. I made a mess like usual, and I'm just going to show you both sides of this window and the snow outside, and then when I get organized, I'll meet you in the new patio in the painting room. So let's just show you this close up. This out here. So there's the poor baby. She's planted about the height she was, and so I hope to get her. She was a very beautiful flower, but just one that just did not do well. But this is the first one I ever put in glass. And it's got one hole right at the bottom. So it does drain. Plus it's got 3 up the top. And a watering day was Wednesday, so it's starting to dry. I missed once in a while, but the spike that is coming, I am so looking forward to this. It's a nice long one. So we enjoy this view from the table. This one I put here, but Mom loves to come out and look at the orchids. So, and there's Moonglow. This is the one we just repotted. She didn't get any shock. She didn't lose any flowers. Seems to be doing quite well. Give you a close-up. Yeah. We can see, and they're really good, and it is drying, but Wednesday's watering day, sometimes Tuesday, the way we're going around here. And over in this window, they're all really doing well. One that surprises me is usually the minis. They go quite quickly, but they're just, they're still hanging on. And this is my big lip. and it's getting ready to open. These in the basket. So beautiful. I love the color, and I'm hoping, I tried grouping them all. They're doing well, and I'm hoping that next year all 4 of them are blooming. So that one's doing good. And of course the traffic cones they do love. Look at those roots. And they're near humidity, so that they're gathering that up because the heater's on so much. These ones are doing good. I seem to have a string caught around here. I was playing around with the plug-in for the camera. Whoop. Sorry about that. There, down here. This is what we sit. This surrounds us as we sit and have our meals. So, anyway, I am going to meet you in the other room in a few minutes. Oh, I forgot to show you. At the thrift store, I picked this pot up for $1. It's so nice, and I found them online, and they are for bonsai trees. So Carolyn might have to get a bonsai tree, you know, spend $1 for a pot, spend more for a tree. Anyway, it's a beautiful vase, and maybe when I'm in the kitchen, this is the view. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, this is my new painting room, and we are in the patio that used to be outdoors, and it's on the east side of our house. And it was, yes, cool in the summer, but we just hardly ever used it. One day we decided it had an aluminum top, heavy roof, and railings all around it, and we said, we would love this patio. So, yes, it came to pass, and we made this into a patio, and we have a little gas fireplace, and we enjoy it all the time. So, instead of painting in the spare room, I bring my painting out here. And I could probably talk for ages, but when you have a 100-year-old mother living with you, whom we love dearly, there is sometimes a lot of stressful situations. And last week, and into this week, she's been having trouble remembering to put the footrest on her recliner chair down before she gets up. And sometimes she gets up and wanders around and goes to sit down and not thinking, sits on the footrest. Down she goes, up comes the back of the chair. So we've had quite a few episodes, and she did okay. But the other night, a few nights ago, she got up at 2 or 3 in the morning and to go to the washroom, which is normal for her, and she fell. She fell over by the table, and she was in a lot of pain, and we just saw no way we were going to get her. She said she couldn't walk. She was just in a lot of pain, and it was in the middle of the morning, so we got her in the chair, and she felt comfortable, and nobody slept after that. That was it. So in the end, we decided to phone the ambulance because we thought there's no way we were going to torture her and try and get her into the car and down to the emergency ward. So we did phone the ambulance, and they said it looked like she had broke a rib, and it didn't look like it was puncturing her lung, but best not to be moving her too much and get her down to the hospital. So down she went, and she was only there a short time. They did an x-ray, found out what it was. She couldn't walk when she was here, but they said if she can walk just a couple yards this way and that way, home she was coming. Because the hospital, they said, I quote, the doctor said, not a good place to be. They were packed. They were so full, Jack couldn't come in to her bedside with me in the emergency department because they were only letting so many people in. They were so full. So, poor Mom, I mean, she's a trooper. So anyway, we didn't get the ambulance to bring her home. They said she was okay. She's going to suffer. If you've had a broken rib, you can understand. And home she is. And she's still twice forgot to put the footrest down. And we've been down there. And anyway, we do have a monitor so we can check on her if we wake up in the night or whatever. And quite often Maggie will bark if he hears her calling for us. So anyway, we won't go into that too much. She has a bruise this big. She's still suffering. But during those times, if I paint, I can relax. And it's funny, I had finished this painting and I looked at it and I thought, wow, it is so dark right over here. You can't really see that there's 2 orchid pots and it's dark. And the rest has all this beautiful light shining from the cross and the birds flying. And this is my painting on tin that's going to go out in the garden that we are going to build a serenity garden. Somewhere we can go sit and relax when we're old and gray. Well, some of us are getting gray already, but anyway. So I started, why is that so dark? But you know, sometimes you can get in a very dark place. So I'm looking at this painting and I'm thinking, well, that was my dark place. Sometimes you try to keep upbeat and you try to keep positive and your mind starts to dwell in all the negative things, and that's a very unhealthy thing to do. And I thought, I wonder if that's why it's there, because, you know, it was depressing and it's also, we do it out the love of our heart, and it's not that we necessarily want to be doing anything else, but sometimes it would be nice to take a holiday maybe to the coast, to the ocean. I mean, we don't feel bad sacrificing those things, and it's with our love we do this, and she is a great benefit to this family as long as we have her. So I thought, well, this dark spot here has to go. I felt like it needed, it's really weird because I was painting this side and there was just flowers and I put this big dark fountain, a dark thing looming there. But then I put the living waters coming down and everything felt good. And then I saw this. So this is what we're going to fix. I have some golden, this is Titanium White, and it's a fluid type paint. I have trouble opening the big tubes. I'm using up all my tubes, but I have trouble opening them. There. We'll put a bit of white. We're not going to need a lot of paint, I don't think. And I'm also going to put some of the tube. I have a tube of titanium. I'm not sure what it's called, but anyway, it is golden because it will withstand all the sunlight. I'm going to try and put it in a good place out there. And then here I have some, it's a fluid paint too, and it's Quincentrione nickel. I'm not, you know, your normal painter. I'm a fun painter, and it's what I do to keep me sane. Other than, honestly, I a couple months ago, thank goodness I found this morning devotional YouTube channel. And every morning I go there and they have a talk and they do a prayer. And do you know, it relaxes me because like I had my blood pressure up, I was stressed with everything that was going on. And it relaxes me. And anybody that's stressed, I'm going to put a quote thing here on link so you can go try it yourself because I can't quit now. I just love it. And it's adding brightness to my life. So that's what I'm going to add to this painting. So I need a bit of water. And I always wear my painting short. And when I'm doing lots of painting, I turned over a new leaf and I wear gloves. And that's a good idea too, because these things are not all that. So I'm going to take a little bit of the dark color and I'm going to put some of that white in, the Titanium white. Because I think if the pot is, it should be reflecting light down in that dark hole from somewhere in this bright painting. It's lights all above in the greenhouse behind, and so I'm going to show you the pot is about here. So I think if we show this pot a little better, I'm not a painting instructor by far. It's definitely not a painting channel. Now sometimes if I get a little too much water on my brush, I will take a Q-tip and just touch it a bit and get some of it off. Now I think I need a little bit more. More. So where do we want most of the light to hit? Maybe from this side. All that white water reflecting light. So I think there's probably more there. I should try and go this way with a bit of a curve because the pot is curved. Ooh, it's drying already. This is a nice warm room. And I'll go down here maybe with some of this dark color. There we go. There we go. Now we're getting it. Now we're getting it. Now I'm going over that leaf that's there, but I'm going to just show you what I cheat. I take a Q-tip and just while the paint is wet, run it through. And if I don't have a clean edge, I quite often use a Q-tip too. So I think you might be able to see this. I'll show you closer. But already it's still very dark. It was a sad dark spot. But first we're going to fix these pots because it was bugging me. So sometimes you have to. Of course, I'm not used to having an audience for my paintings. I've never had instruction. Well, I shouldn't say never. One time, one of the neighbors, one of my neighbors invited me to go with her to Enderby, which is a little community a ways out, and we did a water painting. That's the only instruction I've ever had. In school, I wanted to take art so bad, but in those days, they had something called General and University Program, and if you were, they figured, too stupid or whatever, they put you on the general program. If you went in the general program, you couldn't take a language, you couldn't take science, you couldn't take the hard math, and you couldn't take art if you didn't have the hard math. You know, it's not just nowadays our education system seems to be lacking. That's for sure. And a little bit more white. Let's put some more white in there. Plump, plump, plump. Okay, let's put some light here. And here. And maybe still a little more there. Paper towel. I always, like, even if I'm doing trees, I always kind of curve them, curve it, because it is a curved thing. Okay, we're getting there. What are you doing? Why did I decide to do this? Who knows? Okay, we're still putting light on. I don't know what you're seeing because of my head, and I've not filmed like this before, but you know, they're just flower pots. And I'm not someone who wants to do a painting like a picture, because it's not in me. I'm usually more, yeah, I think we're getting somewhere. Teeny bit more light on this one. Now what are we going to do with the back? Because it's still very dark back there, and it's kind of late in the game. There, we got some pots. So those are the orchid pots. And actually, even the leaves are hid. Those orchid leaves are back there, but they are hid. So maybe we'll try and brighten up the back. I could always put a little green there after. I didn't bring any green in. But you see, there's a white table too. You really can't see it. I'm going to go over those leaves because it's too late not to. Yeah, just trying to. It's still dark, but dark is okay, but it was just too dark. I see something happening. I'll get my Q-tip again and go over these leaves. So, now I could I think it's just about finished. The leaves, well, I think we may be able to touch them up, but hard to say, because there's a big one back here. There's a big one. And there's one in here, it's kind of hid. And there's some going this way. This is a dry brush, I think I'll. There, I think we got some color in there now. That just kind of brightened it up. So I'm going to show you plants I've got out here, which isn't many. It stays really nice here. It stays about 72. So whether I play around with this anymore or not, I'm not sure, but makes me feel better. And I'm going to show you a few things in here. See, I brought you in here. Okay. There. So now there's it doesn't look as dark down there as it did. I had fun painting this. Let me show you. I just put that fountain in, I didn't have a picture of one, I just did it. I just took some dark paint. There was a dark thing looming there, but anyway, I've had fun and enjoyed it, and it's really helped me keep my sanity. So, this is my art room and my computer. And outside, let's look outside. We always have a nice view. It is snowing again. Yeah. Can't see the mountains. And from here, and here we have a couple plants. This is the one that all the leaves fell off, and I am keeping it misted. I have a little misting bottle down here because I'm hoping to get a basil keiki, but we'll see. And my dendrobium, it seemed happy here, so I've left it here. It's getting the east light, probably lots of reflected light from everywhere when it's light. So I'm just leaving it here. It's one of the ones that almost froze in the greenhouse, the only one that survived. So that was a good thing. And the fireplace isn't on right now. We have one of these controllers and it says 73, so it won't come on until it's like 71. And usually Maggie's down there playing with her toys. But, yeah, so this is our fireplace and picture above it. You always get to see yourself. And Jack entertains me here. He's been playing music. What's he working on? He's trying to sing a song. There. And this is outside the back. So, waiting for spring. It looked like it was coming. We were in there just hardly a coat, and we thought it was coming, but anyway, thank you for joining me. It's kind of a different video. Glad to have you. Hopefully things are going to perk up around this house. Bye for now.